delay, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Watch Girls A to Z. If this is your first time tuning in to us, I'm Zoe Abelson. This is Alaina Lackman. And you can find us on the Instagram handles that you'll see below on the screen.
If you haven't already downloaded our Watchbox app, please do so. It's a really awesome app available on both your iPhone, your Android. You get all the watch news that's happening. You can upload your watches into a Watchbox, get real-time values. You're going to be hearing a lot more about Watchbox in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned. There's a lot of really exciting things to come. So if you've tuned into our last episode, you'll remember that we were talking about the ladies' quartz crisis, as we were calling it. We're really lucky in what we do in that we obviously are an authorized dealer for a ton of brands, and we get brand reps in the office almost every single week. And coincidence or not, but we happen to have Bremont in this week. And in his bag of tricks, he had some really nice mechanical ladies pieces. So today on our wrist, we have those Bremonts. We wanted to just show you them, talk a little bit about them, show you a brand that's really doing it well.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. So, like, no pun intended, it was perfect timing that he came last week, right in time for us to write the script for these shows. So for the two watches that we're wearing, well, a little bit history about the watches that we're wearing. So Bremont is an award-winning British luxury watch brand. They manufacture all of their watches in England, and the brand remains true to its original principles of aviation and military, British engineering, and adventure. As a vintage watch fanatic, something that really resonated with me on these watches and why I thought it'd be cool to talk about them is that they are dedicated, the Solo line is actually dedicated to two ladies that changed the course of history.
Badass women.
Badass women who changed the course of history in aviation, and you really don't see that many brands doing that, so.
Yeah, so today I have on a Bremont Solo 32. Beautiful watch. Again, we got lucky enough. We actually have one in stock new, but our rep also brought us these. The line was originally launched in 2016, but they just introduced these rose gold versions. For Bremont, they consider this the more modern take on the watch. As you can see, it has a sleek, polished finish on it. It has a cool composition on the watch. It actually has an exhibition case back as well, which I will show you. In addition to beautiful aesthetics, also has a really cool movement in it. It's a cost certified, which I imagine is not that common in ladies' watches these days. A 40-hour power reserve, and it's only 9 millimeters thick, so that's pretty nice. And again, 32 millimeters, so it fits really nicely on the wrist. Zoe, what are you wearing today?
So I am wearing another Bremont, a part of the Solo line, but this is called their LC, honoring Lettice Curtis, who was a remarkable female pilot during World War II. She flew a wide variety of military combat aircrafts and was the first woman to qualify to fly a 4-engine bomber. So clearly a pretty awesome lady. Now this piece to me, with the rose gold case and black dial, it's hard to miss. It also has a cool, the triptych case is really cool, and on the side it has a black design, so kind of just gives a little more interest to the watch. And I think, as we were mentioning in our last episode on how to get your ladies into mechanical watches, Bremont does this right and can kind of inspire the watch fanatic in the lady in your life.
So again, I think Bremont's doing it so right, and part of the reason that these watches are pretty awesome is because they're actually just a similar design to the man's watches that they make, and so they're not dumbing it down in order to, you know, make something that's desirable for women, but they're taking a really beautiful design that exists for men and sizing it down so it fits properly on your wrist. It's nice to see that. Again, I think there's other brands that do it well. Omega has sized down some of their Planet Oceans, although they make some white ceramics that I think are very specific to women. These don't have a hugely feminine feel, minus the gold, and they are available in steel and a variation of straps for the people that do want to match it to their handbags or their shoes or whatnot.
I totally agree. There are, as you mentioned, other brands that basically take their men's watches, sized it down into their ladies' pieces, but then they add diamonds, and then they add white leather straps, which to me is super feminine. And Bremont just literally took the same design and sized it down, made it smaller case size and thinner. And I think they did it well. I mean, To me, what's similar about that is kind of, it makes me think of Rolex Datejust, where you have a 26 millimeter Rolex Datejust in two-tone, which is the same design as a two-tone 36 millimeter Datejust. It's just sized down. Obviously, they have other aspects to their models where they have diamonds and everything, but they still basically just took a more masculine design and made it smaller for women's wrists.
Yeah, the only question I have about this watch, and maybe it's just me, but they say this AJ is supposed to be more modern than the LC. When I look at that watch, Zoe, to me that just seems so much more modern. I don't know if it's the color combination, if it's the numerals. You know, this has sort of Breguet floral type numerals on it and the applied indexes. It just seems so much more vintage than that has a more modern feel. The other thing I would say is I like the 32. Zoe and I both have relatively small wrists. I come in at a 6. I think she's right under a 6. I wouldn't mind seeing the watch in a 34 millimeter.
Yeah, I think there should be a variation to this line. So I think the 32 millimeters is great, but you know, having a relatively small wrist, it is really nice having a watch where the lugs don't hang over the sides of my wrist. But again, I think 34 millimeters would also be a great addition to the watch, just for to the line, just for some variety in sizing, because not everyone wants like a jewelry piece looking sized watch.
Yeah, and again, at 9 millimeters thick, which is pretty small, it really does fit nicely on the wrist. I don't know if you guys can zoom in there, but you can see it's not ultra thin, not too thick. It's really a nice fit.
And it's delicate, but it has a more masculine look to it because of the triptych case.
Yeah.
And what's cool about the triptych case, so originally they created it for their stainless steel models, where they were able to take the top of the case and then treat it for anti-scratch or scratch-resistant treatments, where you don't really have that for the rose gold, but the thought behind it is really smart.
Yeah, so again, we're really grateful to Bremont. Thanks for sending them in. They're awesome watches.
We're enjoying them on our wrists.
Yeah, we sure are. We've been wearing them all day. And again, it's a great light feel, significant enough to not feel like you're not wearing anything, which sometimes happens. But great job, Bremont. We really love these pieces. All right, so tonight's topic. Again, we like to, you know, play off of things we've done previously, and a lot of times when we bring up a topic on the show, we seem to get a ton of feedback. So in one of our early episodes, you'll remember that we started talking about why people collect watches. There was the hobbyist, there was the lover of mechanical instruments, the value shopper, there's the fashion-forward person, and of course that, you know, status-seeking collector. So this got us talking. It got you guys talking too, because we got a lot of feedback and questions on this. But what does a watch really say about you?
Yeah, as someone in sales, I get phone calls every single day, as I know you do as well. We actually sit across from each other, so I can attest to that. We have clients who call in about a certain watch, and they want our general opinion. So what do we usually tell them? We tell them what we think about the production grade, the brand, the resale value, the aesthetics. But what we kind of keep back is what we think about the person who wears that watch. So what is our perception of someone who would purchase that piece, which I think is kind of invaluable. But again, you know, we don't want to, we gotta be a little unbiased.
Yeah,
so,
you know what? It totally depends on the customer and your relationship with the customer.
Agreed.
I actually had a guy this week. He was looking between a yellow gold Submariner and an AP Diver. Two like drastically different watches in some sense, but I could see why somebody would be interested in both of them. And he asked me point blank, like, do you think I'm gonna look ridiculous wearing this yellow gold Submariner? And my answer was not ridiculous, but it's definitely a flashy watch and it definitely says something. You can't deny the fact that that piece has, you know, a presence and is going to say something to the girl that glances at you at the bar or to the boss that's sitting across from you at a conference table. He ended up going with the AP, which I personally think was a great choice for him and what he does. But, you know, with the right customer, you can kind of talk about it.
Agreed. And I think it's also very relative. Like, what you perceive someone wearing a certain watch is going to be different. For me, for example, my dad owned a 36 millimeter two-tone Datejust with a champagne dial, and he purchased it in the 80s. So growing up, I always saw that watch on his wrist, and to me, when I think of that watch, it's very retro. It's a dad watch to me, so I love it, and it brings back memories. So again, it's gonna all be very relative to everyone's perception, but I think there also are very general perceptions where, just like you said, the yellow gold sub, everyone's gonna see that watch. Everyone is gonna be like, wow, he's wearing a yellow gold Rolex.
And I think it's a fair question to ask, what does that watch say about you? You know, we pick watches for certain reasons, whether it's because we need, you know, the measuring instrument part of it because we really want to be able to tell time and have it be legible, or just because we want somebody to notice. You know, I think a lot of people, and I say this to early collectors, picking the right watch at the beginning is a really important thing because it's how you engage in the market, you know. When you get your first job and you're wearing a cool, I don't know, let's just say an Omega Speedmaster Reduced, and you walk in and, you know, your boss happens to notice it, it's a conversation starter. It takes you to the next level. It opens the floodgates to have a conversation about something other than work, and I think that's really important. So your watch says a lot about you. It can also open the doors to a lot of things. So, you know, you have to think twice about what you're going to wear and why you're wearing it. So that brings us to our topic tonight about celebrity watches. Who is easier to judge than celebrities? So we thought we would talk about some of the watches people are wearing and what we think it says about them.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Alaina. We know about watches, so when we see someone wearing a certain watch, we're going to silently judge. It's just natural. But like you said, who's easier to judge than celebrities? And we picked 4 female celebrities that we wanted to discuss their watches and what we thought of them.
Sure. So the first one, Heidi Klum. She wears a PAM 103, which is an awesome watch. It's a 40mm rose gold radiomere 500-piece limited edition. I think it's a perfect watch for her, and I think it says a lot about who she is. You know, Heidi is a model. She is probably not the center of attention, but she knows fashion, she knows nice things. She picks something that's cool and collected and a little bit off the beaten path, a little bit feminine with a rose gold touch. I think it screams I'm cool, like I'm not that materialistic, but I know what I'm wearing.
Totally agree with literally everything you said. I just think it's such a cool piece for her to rock, and she's going a little larger with a 40mm case. So, you know, look at that outfit. She's wearing just a plain black tee and jeans, but all you see kind of is that rose gold panerai. So she's using it as an accessory, which is normal for, which I guess is normal. And she modeled for however many years and was very on trend working in the fashion industry. So she went with something that not everyone can get,
yeah,
you know.
Limited edition.
She used to wear, I don't know if she still models, but when she modeled, she was wearing clothes to sell. So I think she's rocking that to kind of inspire some women to go towards a rose gold larger piece for ladies. Just think it's very cool for her.
I love that watch. Complete different side of the spectrum, we have Rihanna. This was shocking to me when I saw this, but Rihanna wears a 26mm two-tone Datejust Jubilee bracelet. Zoe and I always joke, I'm an oyster girl, she's a Jubilee person, but not what I would think for Rihanna, which I actually think says a lot about her. I would expect Rihanna to wear a Hublot or an AP, a limited edition something fancy. Instead, she picks something pretty classic. She wears it as an accessory. You can see her bracelets lined up on top of it. It's not the main show, but she's wearing something nice. She knows what she has, something that will never go out of style, classic. I think it says a lot that she chose to go understated instead of something that makes a you know, big stamp on the world.
Agreed. Although it's a shocking choice for Rihanna, I do still think that it's very cool of her, and maybe she'll bring back the two-tone Datejust. I don't know, but very retro, and like you said, obviously wearing it as an accessory, not because, you know, she wants the main attraction to be her watch. You know, it's a little subdued, just hanging in there in between bracelets, and but it's still a Rolex, so.
It does have a really 80s feel to it too, which is cool. Like, it's like a little bit of a throwback watch, something we're used to our moms wearing. Yeah, again, unexpected, but I think it speaks volumes about her.
Yeah, just like one of our viewers said, that she's very 80s, 90s chic, and I completely agree with that. So it does her well.
Yeah, that's a great picture of her too. Really fits her outfit
Probably
with that backwards
watching
hat.
Basketball.
Looks like a sporting event.
And then we go to someone a bit more refined in the classical sense. We go to Kate Middleton, who rocks a Ballon Bleu in stainless steel. Very classic, but it's a modern classic, just as she is, and obviously not extremely in your face about you know, being flashy and overly expensive. Obviously she can afford it, but she just wanted to wear a nice timepiece that's not in your face, and I think it goes perfectly. I just think it suits her.
Could there be a more perfect watch for a perfect woman? I mean, it's a classic brand with Cartier. The Ballon Bleu is a more modern take on some of, you know, their more traditional watches, the tanks and whatnot. It's a perfect fit on her wrist, steel, understated. I do not think it could be more perfect. She deserves to wear something, you know, beautiful, and could probably afford something more expensive and nicer, but she picked something understated, which I think is how we could all describe her, as kind of a classic understated beauty. So it's a great watch for her.
Agreed. And then we kind of go to the lady watch aficionado that is very, I wouldn't say in your face, but she's obvious about her watches. She always wears suits or clothing where that watch is popping out, and I'm talking about Ellen DeGeneres. Big watch collector, usually wears vintage Rolex. You can find that in every picture that you see of her online. She's rocking a sick watch. This one that we picked to talk about tonight, she is rocking a 5711 Patek Nautilus. I mean, if you're talking about building a watch collection, obviously this is a must-have. It's one of their more it's probably their most sought-after models today and right now, so it makes sense that she has it in her collection.
I love this watch for her. Again, she's a collector. She knows what she's buying. A 5711, like Zoe said, it's probably one of the hardest watches to get out there. Holds its value better than pretty much anything. But regarding design and whatnot, it has sort of like, on a man, I wouldn't say it's an ultra masculine watch. It definitely has masculine touches to it. But I think it's such an interesting play for a woman to wear a 5711. It has kind of like just in between feel to it. It's not too masculine, it's not ultra feminine, super simple, non-complicated. It shows that she knows the watch world. Obviously, she's a major collector. And it's not flashy, which I just feel like is so her. Like, I couldn't see her wearing something with diamonds or, you know, a huge gold piece. It's just really suited to her and what she does and what she talks about and everything she preaches. If you watch her show, I think it's a great piece for her and says a lot.
Totally agree. Just overall, 4 ladies who are rocking 4 very different watches for 4 different reasons, and I think it suits all of them. So that kind of brings us to our next show's topic, which is...
So next week we want to do something a little different, and we really need your help. We want to take it out of the Watchbox studio. We're going to take to the streets of Philadelphia, talk to some people that don't know watches as well as we do, or probably you do since you're tuning in here on a Thursday night. And we want to know what people think of watches when they walk into a bar, or again, they're meeting their boss, sitting at a conference table, having a business meeting. What do you think when somebody puts their hand out to shake your hand and has a watch on? So we're going to take it to the streets. We're going to do some videos. We really want some feedback from all of you guys. We want to hear what you think when you see the guy next to you at the gym with his yellow gold Submariner, for example. What does that say to you? I think, again, as we do this, we get so much feedback, and people want to know. They want to know what their watch, you know, sends out to the world. So send us your feedback, send us your questions, send us photos, send us videos. We will be featuring a bunch of people on our next show, so get it into us.
And again, it's going to be the 4 watches that we talked about today. So it'll be a 26mm two-tone Datejust. What do you think about a woman who wears that watch when you see her wearing that watch? The Cartier Ballon Bleu, the Patek 5711, and the Radiomir Pam 103, male or female, whoever's rocking that watch. What do you think of that person? And I think it'll be really interesting to see very shocking and contrasting views of the people who know watches versus random people that just see a watch as it is, as the complete aesthetics and not know much about the value. I think it'll be really, really interesting to get some feedback, and I think it will be great to engage you guys and hear from you on your thoughts.
Speaking of which, why don't we hit this chat box? It looks like there's a ton of people tuned in tonight. Thank you so much. Also seems to be a lot of good commentary, so let's jump in there, Zoe.
So let's see. It looks like people are agreeing Middleton completely makes that Ballon Blue. Someone asked, how versatile is a yellow gold day date 36 millimeters with a green and gold dial? Is that too flashy? What do you think?
I personally do think it's a flashy watch, but you know what? Everybody has their own style, and I think you can style things down, style them up. I do think it's a pretty flashy watch. What about yourself?
I think it's definitely gonna grab some attention, to put it lightly. It's flashy, and it depends how you style it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if you're wearing an all black outfit or something super subdued, and then you have that watch, it's really gonna pop. Or you can wear something that's like pretty avant-garde and you're not really going to notice it. So it just depends how you style it, I think. Someone also asked about the two-tone 41 fluted bezel rose and steel. Very good-looking piece.
Love that watch.
Less flashy, but still has that pop of flash.
I think two-tone's a great way to do, you know, a little bit of pop without
dressy
too
and
much.
casual
Absolutely.
combined.
And for some reason, I mean, I guess it depends on the variation of the Datejust too, but for some reason I feel like it's such a versatile piece, even in a two-tone, even with maybe diamond markers. You can wear it with jeans, you could wear it with a suit. It's a great versatile piece.
Jared Golden also said, if we can speak to fit issues with women wearing certain watches, for instance,
Sure.
a 36 millimeter Royal Oak for a woman's wrist, which is smaller than 6 inches, similar to mine, and how to handle without damaging the bracelet. That's tough.
It is tough. You know, you can force a watch on, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a good fit. AP is something I love to death. All I want is an AP. It will be my next watch for sure. I have a really, really hard time getting it to fit on my wrist. The lugs are constantly hanging over. Even for men, it seems like they always need that 1.5 link. There's just something with the way the bracelet's configured that it's not always the perfect fit. Again, you can force it and make it work. You could take something off a bracelet and put it on a strap. But at the end of the day, I can tell you as somebody that doesn't like to wear a watch during the day because I find it uncomfortable on my computer, fit is everything. Like, you gotta be comfortable in the watch, otherwise it's just not worth wearing it.
No, it's gonna be super uncomfortable, and then if you ruin the watch and then you realize that you wanna resell it to get something that actually fits, the watch is gonna be irreparable. So it definitely does not make sense to buy a watch that does not fit you just because you love it. Even though that's hard for me to say because most every watch that I love does not fit my wrist. So it's always tempting, but if I can't wear it, what's the point?
We got Andrew Holt that's mentioning Nikki Hilton wearing a Rolex Milgauss. It was funny when we were...
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was funny when we were looking into the celebrity watches. Actually, Paris Hilton seems to be a really big watch collector and has a ton of different Rolex. The majority of celebrities seem to wear Rolex.
Yeah.
I guess that's not hugely surprising.
No,
but for the people
not.
like Heidi that wears a Panerai, I think it's extra cool.
Right. I think that adds the cool factor because she's going off the beaten path with a different watch brand that you really don't see, not only celebrities, but also you really don't see a lot of ladies wearing that watch. So definitely makes it a bit cooler.
We have some also just awesome people with really great feedback. I gotta comment over here and say hello to Watch Yoda. You are always on, always watching us.
Love
We
it.
really appreciate it. And we are very happy to hear that we are your favorite shows after Beverly Hills 90210.
What?
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
That is a huge compliment. I think he's just saying that because he won those hats for following me on Instagram.
Well,
so
he
maybe
deserves
he
it.
just wants some more swag from us.
Yeah, so hi to a lot of other people out there. We have a lot of people tuned in today. CQ, thanks for tuning in. Always see you around here. Neuro.
Caroline.
Wolfo Witch. I'm really bad at pronouncing names.
Sorry if we butcher them.
Yeah,
we can
Leiden.
pronounce watch brands, but we can't pronounce your names.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate it. And again, our next episode is going to be fully based on our interactions and our participation from you. So please reach out. Please send us videos. Please give us feedback. If you happen to be somebody in Philadelphia and you're tuning in, let us know where you're going to be hanging out for the next couple weeks, because
we'll we're
going to come after you with a camera crew, and we are going to interview you about next week's topic. So thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We're always happy to be here with you guys.
And
yeah, we'll see you. Happy Thanksgiving. We probably won't see you. Actually, I guess
our next
December.
show is going to be on Thanksgiving, so you guys should be eating and not watching us. I think
doing both,
or
you
could do both.
prefer.
I don't know. We'll see. But until we see you again and hear from you for your opinions, it's been a pleasure, Alaina.
Thank you so much, guys. We can't wait to hear from you in the upcoming weeks, and we will see you on Thanksgiving.